Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to another live. It was a quiet week last week. Didn't have anything going on. Like I said yesterday, if anyone tuned in, we have Juliet is away for a couple of weeks. So I'm quietly taking over her segment, which will be a bit of fun. We've got a few different things planned for a few lives over the next few weeks. Some stuff in here in the workshop, and we'll also do some similar to Juliet's Thursday lives as well. So we'll have a few special guests that'll come on and we'll put some rings together and get through some questions as well. Today we're going to get through a lovely 18 karat yellow shy ring, which we have here. And in that is going to be a 1.7 pair cut, 1.7 carat EVS1 pair cut. So we'll have a look at that diamond now. Oof, look at that. Super nice. Super nice. Okay, so we're going to go on a bit of a journey together this afternoon. We're going to set this ring. If you guys have any questions about this ring, about any rings, about anything jewelry related, please send them through. I've got Zave here with me. He's going to help me get through as many questions as possible. But while you guys get your questions together, we'll start setting this ring. So with this pair design, only 3 claws, which makes life a little bit easier, but it's also really important. Each step is even more important. You only have 3 claws instead of 5, let's say, to hold it. So just want to make sure that every move we make with the setting is deliberate. So we obviously need somewhere for our little point of our pair to go. I like to cut this first because I can then slip the stone in like this. Oh, not like that. Slip the stone in like this and just get a gauge of how our stone is going to look in the setting. So we can see here that it does want to drop down a little bit. We do need to cut those claws obviously to get them in, but it means that I can press down on the diamond to leave some little indents in our claws, and that's where we're going to cut. So the diamond will tell us really where it wants us to cut and how it wants to sit in the setting, which is fantastic, or else it becomes a little bit difficult if you have no information at all. Okay, so we can see the diamond sits in really nice, but it's sitting a little bit high at the moment. We want it to drop down and sit a little bit more snug in that setting. So that's a pretty easy fix. We just want to keep taking some more metal away to get that belly to drop in a little bit more. So we're just going to slowly take it out, because there's a pretty fine line between taking out exactly what you need to create a seat, but then taking too much and you lose that security that you need to hold that diamond in. Awesome. Like I said before, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot them through. What I'll do is, while we're doing a little bit of back and forth, and I'm just cutting out the seat, getting everything to sit really nice for the stone in the setting. What I'll do is I'll just gonna put a bit of background music on, and I'll just focus in on this. If you have any questions, I'll jump on the mic and I'll explain through some stuff. We'll give a written reply as well. But yeah, fire them through. If not, just enjoy. Okay, so we did just have one question come through, and the question was, if we take too much metal away, do we have to start all over again? We're pretty lucky that we have, and I think we've shown it on the stories a few times, we have a laser welder here, and what the laser welder can enable us to do is we can put metal back where we've taken away, or we can add metal to different areas. So if by chance we cut a little bit too much, or we slip a little bit and we have to fill a space, instead of having to start everything all over again, what we'll do is we'll go back and fill in any little areas that should have metal in there, and we can build it back up that way. It is a little bit time consuming, so we don't want to get stuck. It's a last resort. It's a really good option to have, but it's definitely not something we don't want to just cut out heaps of metal and go, yep, it'll be fine, and then have to go back and weld it all back in. Some scenarios where we don't have, if you don't have a laser welder, or even a torch with some solder to try and solder some metal back in, in some scenarios people may have to start jobs all over again because it's not savable. So yeah, that's definitely worst case scenario, and we're lucky we don't have that happen very often at all. But sometimes that unfortunately can be the case. Awesome. So I've got a couple more questions. Sorry, can you show me that first one again? It was. I'll read it out to. I'll read it out to you guys as well. Are you going to make it a claw problem? Yes. So this is going to become one of our eagle tip claws. So in this design, it's going to have 3 eagle tips, but you can also, I think you can also get this design with 2 eagle tips at the back and a V claw at the front. And there was a second question, I think around how did I get into, why did I choose jewellery making as a career? That's a really good question. It's one that I've answered a few times, and it has evolved over time, but it's something that I didn't know I was really passionate about until I started. And it's something that I was intrigued by and didn't really know much about, and I think that for me was a driving factor, that it was something that no one could really give me an answer to, because it's become a pretty niche sort of job. So yeah, I spent 3 years at university doing a jewellery design style degree, and I really found a bit of passion there, and I wanted to move away, do a little bit of design work, but do a lot more physical work as well, and bench work. So I went out and had to find myself a job, and managed to find an internship somewhere, and spent a fair bit of time trying to prove that I was really passionate and invested and was worth teaching, which was great. And yeah, that was 7 years ago, and I think from there it's just a continuous journey of learning and growing and working with different people that'll, you try and share ideas to teach yourself. You learn yourself, but you also try and share ideas with others, so that you can both move forward in a career that there's not a lot of people left, not a lot of experienced jewelers and setters around. So the ones that you do have, we want to make the most of that, and try and share that knowledge to be able to pass it forward for another generation of jewellery makers. Okay, cool. So, as you guys can see now, I have cut out metal on all three claws. I've taken a little bit out of the inside of this bezel as well. And then at the end, just before I put the stone in, I just give it a light polish. I just want to put that mirror finish back on, and I don't want to leave, marks of the ball burr or any other tool that I've gone in there with. Not a massive thing that has to get done, don't have to do it, but I think it's a really nice touch just to keep everything really clean and you keep that really nice reflective surface. So I've just brought the claws in a little bit and I'm going to drop the stone in and see how we're going to look. So we can see that it's even, and we now want to try and start bending those claws over to create the tension, the security. It's going to hold it in. So you can see that I'm working all three claws all at the same time, so I'm not pushing one all the way down and then going to the next one and pushing it all the way. I want to work all three together. What that means is just able to make sure that the diamond stays nice and straight in all directions in the setting, because we don't want it to come in crooked or pointing down like it's doing a bit of a nosedive. We want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Cool. So what you'll be able to see now is I've got the stone in and I've pushed those claws down. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little tool, which is connected to an air hose, and it's what it'll do is like a little hammer. So as I push down, it'll hammer the metal flat onto the stone. So we want to make sure that we're really locked in. For this process, it does get quite loud, so I am going to turn off the microphone so you don't have to listen to that. But you'll be able to see when I push down with this little tool that I've made with a little flat surface, I'm pushing on the claw this way, and these curved edges are going to start to flatten out. So that'll mean that the metal is being hammered down, so that we have nice strong metal so it doesn't come up. So what you guys will you'll be able to see these flat edges like I was talking about that we've put in to hammer the claws down. Now you also notice that I did start filing the claws and giving them a bit of shape, and then I went back to hammer. Just do that just to make sure, again, the claw is nice and flat. We don't have any lifting, so if the claw lifts a little bit, then the claw becomes really catchy, catch on your clothes and stuff. We don't want that. So just start to take metal away and hammer down. Just again, like a backwards and forwards, just to make sure it's in the right spot. It's nice and secure. It's not going to lift, and we have that nice stability. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and start to give our claws some that eagle tip shape. So we want to focus on nice straight edges on the sides, nice point at the top, and a nice curve at the back. So just want to maintain all of those features. So you see now we're really close. We've got that nice shape, nice flat sides, that's all good, but we don't have that nice talon eagle tip kind of shape. So what we'll do is I'll get all that filing done, and then I'm going to go in with our little hammer machine again, but I'm going to put a different tip on it. So instead of a little hammer, we're going to go with a nice sharp engraver. What the engraver will do is I'm just going to run it along these flat sides. And it's just going to give a nice, it's going to cut metal away and give a nice flat edge. Like that. Give a nice flat edge that we're then going to work and clean up to give us a really nice polish. If we don't follow all these steps, what happens is you don't get a smooth mirror finish and you end up seeing like polished scratch lines, which is not a great look and not the look we want to go for either. So I'll keep going with this and I'll check back in with you guys when we're ready to polish. Follow all these steps, what happens is you don't get a smooth mirror finish and you end up seeing like polished scratch lines, which is not a great look, not the look we want to go for either. So I'll keep going with this and I'll check back in with you guys when we're ready to polish. actually going to take it out of my little clamp here, out of my engraving ball, and I'm going to do the cleanup work in my hands here because I find that it gives you better mobility around the piece, and you can get to those corners and to the edges a lot better than if I'm stuck in the clamp. So what we're going to do now is just go over these sides again, but just really start to soften everything. So we want to try and flatten those sides really flat, take out all the marks and scratches, all that kind of stuff. And we just want to leave it flat as possible. So this green wheel that I'm using now is it's like a medium grit, I would say. It's not too coarse. I have another one that is really coarse, and I use that a lot on platinum just to really move the metal and take it away, especially where it's some stubborn areas that are a bit dented and marked. We just want to make sure we can get rid of that effectively. So what I'll do now is I've done the sides. We'll just start to round off all these top corner edges that we don't really want to have. We want nice rounded tops as well. So again, we're really starting to take shape. It's really starting to get closer to that eagle tip kind of look. So now once I've cleaned up all the deep marks with this medium grit wheel, it's time to go to a finer grit. So in yellow gold, I find yellow gold's a lot easier to work with on the bench than platinum. So I go to this really, really fine, it's another green one, but it's a much finer grit. And what you'll be able to see is it almost leaves it with a polished edge already. So it's really, really fine. And it just really helps take out all the medium grits, marks, scratches, and just really fine everything out. But it's also great to help put that flat edge in as well. It's a bit of a harder compound makeup, so it'll hold itself a bit nicer to not bend, to create a curved edge. You want to keep it nice and flat. Awesome. So now we've done the sides. In the same way that we cleaned up the top and the back of the claws with that medium grit wheel, we want to clean up those areas again, but with a fine grit. So what I've got here is, it's the same as the one that I've just used for the sides, but it's just a bit of a smaller wheel. It's a bit more rounded, so we don't want to put any deep marks. We don't want to cut out anything. We just want to put this nice pre-polished finish on the tops and the sides and the back, obviously. Because then what that'll do is it helps when we go to polish, we've got it nice and pre-polished and prepared. So that all I need to do is just bristle brush and a light touch with our mops, and that should give us our polish. So I'll show you now with this really soft bristle brush. This is made from, I think it's made from goat's hair, I think. But you'll be able to see pretty quickly, because we've done that nice preparation on the metal, we get that polish straight away. So all these little corner areas, our eagle tips, where this setting meets the band, we want to do all of that clean up here. And then we just want to do the final polish for the band. We use a big wheel for that because it does give a nicer finish, but on the big wheel it's a bit hard to get into these tight little corners. So I want to do that here and do all that prep work to just make sure we get the nice bright result, but we're not overworking the metal either. Now it is still got a bit of polishing compound on the stone, but that's why we're going to finish the polish on our big wheel, and then we're going to put it in our ultrasonic to get rid of the residue. But just like that, we have our Shy design finished, and I'll just give it a light buff with this fluffy cotton mop at the moment, just to show you guys what our final look is going to be. And just like that, we have an 18 karat yellow gold, 1.7 carat diamond engagement ring. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you guys also enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, follow. Any questions, anything we didn't get to, please put them in the DMs, and we'll try and get back to as many as possible. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.